Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, for those who don't fully understand what a tariff is, it's a tax imposed on imported goods or services by a country's government. And the primary purpose of the tariff is to protect domestic industries from foreign competition by making imported goods more expensive, thereby giving domestic producers a competitive advantage. Tariffs can be implemented for various reasons, including safeguarding domestic employment, protecting national security interests, and generating revenue for the government. Now, today we will take a brief analysis on tariffs imposed on the Chinese-made electric vehicles, where it's obvious China has to pay in order to play in this global climate change fight and carbon reduction. We will show you a little bit of what's causing this vast decision and why rules are imposed for the biggest competition right now. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and give a thumbs up if you like what you see. Let's get straight into our first feature.
Another week, yet another auto investment announcement in Ontario.
Thank you, Minister Champagne.
There have been so many, politicians have begun recycling their jokes.
How many times have we said game changer now, week after week, month after month?
The $1.6 billion Aïkase owned.
Starting out this video, it's really short, so I remember we're doing a reaction. And there it is right there at the beginning. If you let them talk long enough, they will eventually tell on themselves. They're reading from the same teleprompter, the same script, the same catchphrase, and it's the same cast. Long gone are the days when leaderships would inspire, motivate, coach, mentor, or train those in which they come in contact with, and just speaking from the heart and the soul. No, it's a process where they have to one-size-fits-all ideology. Let's continue.
Plant will produce components for Honda's Alliston battery plant, which we've known for weeks. What's new is the location. Port Colborne, Ontario, a town of 18,000 on the north shore of Lake Erie that hadn't seen an investment this large since the International Nickel Company opened a plant in 1914.
This is on that scale, actually quite larger than that scale.
The announcement comes on the same day U.S. President Joe Biden announced heavy tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, as well as batteries and the critical minerals that go in them, in an attempt to prevent less expensive Chinese cars from flooding the market.
Obviously, we're watching closely what our closest trading partner in the United States is doing.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau sidestepped several questions on the subject, but industry watchers expect Canada to follow suit.
Canada cannot afford to be known in Washington as the open side door for the Chinese.
The danger here is that a trade war could potentially lead to geopolitical supply chain issues. Last fall, for example, China declared that some graphite exports would require government approval. Will they now do the same with other critical minerals?
Right now, if you want lithium, if you need graphite, if you need cobalt and manganese, you're going to get it from Chinese sources.
It takes at least a decade for a mine to begin extracting materials like lithium from the ground. Until then, the 4 new EV plants being built in Ontario and Quebec, along with the supply plant announced today, will have to import everything they need, while a trade war revs up. Mike Drolet, Global News, Port Colborne, Ontario.
So basically, the Biden administration increased tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles up to 100%, as well as 25% on lithium-ion electric vehicle batteries, and up to 50% on photovoltaic cells used to make solar panels. And this was on 14th of May. And on the 18th of May, get this, First Solar becomes the world's most valuable solar company after overtaking Chinese rivals whose valuations are falling due to price wars and US tariffs. And what is going to happen right here is that the more taxes being imposed on Chinese-made products, it is going to be far more expensive coming us to here in North America. So one of the advantage of tariffs is that they can help protect domestic industries from unfair competition, particularly from countries with lower labor or environmental standards. For example, a country imposes tariffs on imported steel. Domestic steel producers may benefit from reduced competition and increased demand for their products. However, a disadvantage of the tariff is that They can lead to higher prices for consumers. We all just end up paying more as imported goods become more expensive. And this can reduce the consumer choice and purchasing power, particularly for essential goods that are heavily imported. Another example is that if a tariff is imposed on imported automobiles, say for instance electric cars right now, the consumers will face higher prices when purchasing these cars, limiting our ability to afford transportation options. And additionally, the tariffs can provoke retaliation from other countries, leading to a trade war that can harm both domestic and foreign businesses. Let's continue into our next feature, and this will actually show you exactly why the tariffs are being imposed. Let's take a look at this.
We're looking at a BYD Seagull. This vehicle was recently introduced and kind of caught the auto industry, really caught their attention. It's an immediate threat to our European customers as they see it coming into their shores. Here in North America, we look at it and say, though it's not homologated, with relatively modest investments, they most likely could, and it could become a competitive threat here. We bought the vehicle in China, but because we have a global presence, we're able to ship the vehicle, and we shipped it here. When you drive it, you can drive it in our parking lot. You cannot drive it on the road. It is not legal in our country, and we don't have license plate on it as a result. Because they're so highly vertically integrated at their labor rates, in their process, in their environment, a tremendous cost advantage. And so that's why they're bringing forward a vehicle priced in this $11,000 range. So when you put that in perspective, it's just like, oh my gosh, this is really staggering. And I think it's a clarion call to the industry. It says, this is the benchmark. This is what we have to look at. The challenge right now, how do I make an EV that functions? One that meets all its requirements. It's safe, it performs, it's reliable, all the things that we want in our products. And the bigger question now, how do I do it profitably? Well, it seems to be there's a solution right here that we can study and ought to be studying to exhaustion to really understand what can we do.
Thanks to the Associated Press for this particular video. I will leave the link in the description box below. So if country A imposes tariffs on country B may retaliate by imposing tariffs on imports from country A, and this tit-for-tat escalation can disrupt global supply chains, increase uncertainty for businesses, and can ultimately harm economic growth for both countries. And that's what we're seeing here. So in the global fight for carbon reduction, both countries are going at it. And overall, while tariffs can offer short-term benefits for domestic industries, they can also have negative consequences for the consumers and businesses, both domestically and internationally, by increasing prices. So overall, while tariffs can offer short-term benefits to domestic industries, they can also have negative consequences for consumers and businesses, both domestically and internationally, by increasing prices, reducing choice, and disrupting trade relations. In the end, the consumers always pays. Politics is getting dirtier and dirtier as time goes by, and at the same time we're caught in the middle where our pockets, our bank accounts, and we have to work at least 2, 3 times or 4 times as harder to enjoy the necessities of life. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.